The dense forest of Earth trembled as a massive energy blast tore through the trees, sending debris flying in all directions. Goku, his orange gi torn and bloodied, skidded across the ground, his breath ragged. His opponent, the brutal Saiyan warrior Raditz, loomed over him with a cruel smirk. Pathetic, Raditz sneered, cracking his knuckles. Is this all the legendary Son Goku has to offer? Nearby, Piccolo stood panting, his arm glowing with charged energy, but even their combined efforts hadn't been enough to stop Raditz. Goku wiped blood from his lip, his mind racing. He had trained his whole life, but this enemy was on another level. Raditz was faster, stronger, his attacks relentless. Just moments ago, Goku had attempted a Kamehameha, only for Raditz to vanish and reappear behind him, driving a knee into his spine. The pain still radiated through his body, but he couldn't afford to stop. Somewhere in the distance, Gohan's terrified cries echoed. His son was in danger, and the thought alone forced Goku back to his feet. Piccolo, sensing Goku's resolve, gritted his teeth. "We need a new plan," he growled. "He's toying with us," Raditz laughed, his aura flaring crimson. "Toying? No. I'm simply showing you the gap between a low-class warrior and an elite." With a flick of his wrist, Raditz unleashed a barrage of energy blasts. Goku and Piccolo dodged frantically, the explosions lighting up the battlefield. One blast grazed Goku's shoulder, searing his flesh, but he ignored the pain, lunging forward with a furious punch. Raditz caught his fist effortlessly and twisted, sending Goku crashing into the ground. Piccolo seized the opening, his arm extending in a surprise Mekanko-Sappo. The spiraling beam shot toward Raditz, who barely managed to deflect it with a hasty energy barrier. The force still sent him skidding back, his boots digging trenches in the earth. "Annoying insect," Raditz spat, his patience thinning. He powered up, his muscles bulging as his aura erupted like a storm. The sheer pressure of his energy sent shockwaves through the battlefield, knocking Piccolo off balance. Goku, struggling to rise, felt something stir inside him, a heat, a pulse of power he hadn't felt before. His body ached, his vision blurred, but he refused to fall. Images of his friends, his family, his world flashed in his mind. He couldn't lose. Not like this. Raditz lunged again, his fist aimed for Goku's throat, but this time, Goku moved faster. He sidestepped, delivering a crushing elbow to Raditz's ribs. The Saiyan grunted, momentarily stunned. Piccolo, seeing his chance, charged another attack. "Now, Goku," he roared. Goku didn't hesitate. He summoned every ounce of his remaining energy, his hands forming the familiar blue sphere of a Kamehameha. Raditz's eyes widened. "You think that will work twice?" He mocked, but Goku's attack wasn't aimed at him, it was aimed at the ground. The blast erupted beneath Raditz's feet, launching him into the air. Piccolo's Mekanko-Sappo struck true this time, piercing Raditz's side. The Saiyan howled in pain, clutching his wound as he crashed back to earth. For a moment, there was silence. Then, Raditz began to laugh, a deep, unnerving sound. "You fools," he spat, rising slowly. "Did you really think that would be enough?" His body began to shimmer, his power spiking erratically. Goku and Piccolo exchanged worried glances. Something was wrong. Raditz's muscles contorted, his veins bulging unnaturally. "I'll show you true power," he snarled. Suddenly, 3 more energy signatures appeared in the distance, familiar, yet terrifying. Goku's blood ran cold. No. It can't be. Emerging from the smoke were 3 figures, Nappa, Vegeta, and an unknown Saiyan, their auras blazing with malice. Vegeta smirked. "Looks like Raditz was having too much fun without us." Goku's fists clenched. This wasn't just a battle anymore, it was a fight for survival. And as the 4 Saiyans surrounded them, Goku realized the only way to win was to surpass his limits. But at what cost? His body trembled, not from fear, but from something deeper, a primal energy waiting to awaken. The fight for Earth's fate had only just begun. The battlefield was a wasteland of craters and shattered rock, the air thick with the stench of scorched earth and ozone. Goku lay motionless, his body battered from the earlier clash with the mysterious invader, Zurith. His breathing was shallow, his energy flickering like a dying flame. Nearby, Vegeta, Gohan, and Trunks stood panting, their muscles trembling from exhaustion. The plan had been desperate, channeling their remaining energy into Goku, hoping it would push him beyond his limits. But even as golden auras flickered around him, something was wrong. Zurith loomed above them, his crimson eyes gleaming with amusement. His armor was cracked but still intact, his power undiminished. "Pathetic," he sneered. "You think pooling your scraps of energy will make a difference?" He raised a hand, dark energy swirling around his fingers. Let me show you true power. Just as the blast was about to consume them, a surge of energy erupted from Goku's body, not the golden glow of Super Saiyan, but something deeper, wilder. His hair lengthened, turning jet black with streaks of red, his muscles swelling as a primal aura enveloped him. His tail, long dormant, lashed behind him like a whip. Super Saiyan 4. Zurith's smirk faltered. Impossible. Goku's eyes snapped open, burning with feral intensity. He moved faster than sight, his fist slamming into Zurith's gut with enough force to send him skidding across the battlefield. The others watched in awe as Goku pressed the attack, his movements fluid yet brutal, each strike carrying the weight of a meteor. But Zurith wasn't done. With a snarl, he retaliated, his own power flaring as dark energy wreathed his fists. The two collided in a shockwave that split the ground beneath them. You're stronger than I expected, Zurith admitted, wiping blood from his lip. But strength alone won't save you. Before Goku could respond, the earth trembled. A monstrous roar echoed across the battlefield as a colossal figure emerged from the horizon, a biomechanical dragon, its scales glinting like steel, its eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence. The creature's arrival sent a ripple of dread through the Saiyans. Vegeta cursed. Another one? Gohan's eyes widened in recognition. That's not just any dragon, it's a shadow dragon, born from the negative energy of the Dragon Balls. Trunks clenched his fists. But how? We didn't overuse them this time. Zurith chuckled darkly. You didn't? I did. The realization hit them like a physical blow. Zurith had been manipulating the Dragon Balls in secret, corrupting them to summon this abomination. The shadow dragon's maw opened, releasing a torrent of black fire that incinerated everything in its path. Goku barely managed to shield the others with a hastily erected energy barrier, but the strain was evident. Vegeta growled. We need to take that thing down before it levels the planet. Goku nodded. You guys handle the dragon. I'll keep Zurith busy. The battle split. Goku and Zurith clashed again, their fists meeting in explosions of energy that sent shockwaves through the air. Goku's Super Saiyan 4 form gave him an edge, but Zurith was cunning, using the terrain to his advantage, flinging debris with telekinesis, redirecting Goku's attacks into the ground to destabilize him. Meanwhile, Vegeta, Gohan, and Trunks launched their assault on the Shadow Dragon. Vegeta went straight for the head, unleashing a barrage of Gallic gun blasts, but the dragon's hide absorbed the energy, its scales glowing ominously. Gohan realized too late what was happening. It's absorbing our attacks. The dragon retaliated, firing their own energy back at them. Trunks barely dodged, his sword flashing as he sliced through a tendril of black fire. We need a different approach. Gohan's mind raced. If it feeds on energy, maybe we can overload it. Vegeta smirked. Then let's give it more than it can handle. He powered up to Super Saiyan 2, his aura flaring. On my mark. The three Saiyans unleashed a synchronized blast, their combined energy forming a swirling vortex of power. The shadow dragon shrieked as it was engulfed, its body convulsing, but instead of exploding, it began to mutate, its form twisting into something even more grotesque. Gohan's heart sank. It's adapting. Back with Goku, the fight was reaching its peak. Zurith had begun to falter, his movement sluggish. Goku seized the opening, driving a fist into his ribs before following up with a devastating knee to the jaw. Zurith spat blood, his expression twisted in fury. You are becoming a nuisance. Goku's eyes narrowed. You're the one who brought this fight to us. Now end it. Zurith's lips curled into a grim smile. Very well. Without warning, his body convulsed, dark energy erupting from his pores. His form twisted, his limbs elongating as jagged spikes burst from his armor. His transformation complete, Zurith stood as a monstrous hybrid of Saiyan and something far darker. Goku barely had time to react before Zurith was upon him, his speed and power multiplied. A clawed hand slashed across Goku's chest, drawing blood. Goku staggered, but he refused to fall. Digging deep, he channeled every ounce of his strength into one final attack. His fists glowed crimson as he roared, Dragon Fist. The punch connected, a spectral dragon of energy erupting from his fist and tearing through Zurith's chest. The villain screamed as his body disintegrated, his essence scattering like ash in the wind. But the victory was short-lived. The mutated shadow dragon, now a writhing mass of energy and malice, turned its gaze toward Goku. The others were exhausted, their energy spent. Goku knew what had to be done. Everyone, give me your energy one last time, he said, his voice steady. Vegeta scoffed but raised his hand regardless. Don't get used to this, Kakarot. As their energy flowed into him, Goku's aura blazed brighter than ever. With a final battle cry, he rocketed toward the Shadow Dragon, his fist aimed at its core. The impact lit up the sky, a blinding explosion of light and power. When the dust settled, the dragon was gone. But so was Goku. The others stared in stunned silence. Trunks was the first to speak. Did he? Gohan's fists clenched. No. He's alive. He has to be. Vegeta turned away, his face unreadable. Fool. But the battle was far from over. Somewhere in the wreckage, a shadow stirred. A new threat, or an old enemy reborn? The Saiyans didn't know. But one thing was certain, the fight for Earth's survival had only just begun. The battlefield was a wasteland of shattered rock and smoldering craters, the air thick with the scent of burning energy. Goku lay on the ground, his body battered, his breathing ragged. The enemy, an unknown Saiyan warrior clad in black armor, loomed over him, a cruel smirk twisting his lips. Pathetic, he sneered. The legendary Super Saiyan, reduced to this? Goku's vision blurred, but he clenched his fists, refusing to yield. Nearby, Vegeta, Gohan, and Trunks were locked in their own desperate struggles against the warrior's elite forces. The odds were impossible, but surrender wasn't an option. As Goku struggled to rise, a voice echoed in his mind, Whis' warning from before the battle. This foe isn't just strong, Goku. He absorbs power. The more you fight, the more he grows. Goku's stomach twisted. That explained why their attacks only made the enemy stronger. But if they couldn't fight, what could they do? A sudden explosion rocked the battlefield as Vegeta was hurled into a cliffside, blood streaking his face. Damn it. Goku growled. He had to think fast. Then, an idea struck him, a reckless, desperate gamble. If this Saiyan fed on their energy, maybe they could overload him. But it would require everything they had. Goku forced himself to his feet, his body screaming in protest. Guys, he shouted, his voice raw. We need to combine our power, all of it. Right into him. Vegeta's eyes widened. You're insane. He'll just get stronger. Goku met his gaze. Or he'll break. It's our only shot. The others hesitated, but Gohan nodded. Do it. With a shared glance, they unleashed their auras, golden light erupting around them. The enemy laughed. More power for me. He taunted, spreading his arms as their energy surged toward him. The ground quaked, the sheer force distorting the air. Goku's muscles burned, his vision tunneling. Just a little more. Then, the twist. A searing pain erupted in Goku's chest. His eyes snapped open to see a blade protruding from his torso. Behind him stood Piccolo, his expression cold. Sorry, Goku, he murmured. But this was the only way. The world seemed to freeze. Betrayal? Piccolo? Goku coughed blood, collapsing to his knees as the energy transfer faltered. The enemy staggered, momentarily overwhelmed, but still standing. Vegeta roared, lunging at Piccolo. You traitor! Piccolo dodged, his voice grim. He was never the real threat. He gestured to the sky, where a massive shadow loomed, a second, even more monstrous Saiyan descending. That's the one pulling the strings. The one who controlled your enemy like a puppet. Goku's blood ran cold. All this time, they'd been fighting a pawn. The new Saiyan landed, his presence suffocating. Well done, Piccolo, he purred. You played your part perfectly. Piccolo's fists clenched. I did what I had to. Now end this. The Saiyan chuckled. Oh, I will. He raised a hand, and Goku's body convulsed, his energy draining rapidly. The others cried out, but they were too weak to stop it. In that moment of sheer desperation, Goku's mind flashed to his friends, his family, everything he was about to lose. A primal roar tore from his throat as his body erupted in crimson light. His hair lengthened, his form shifting, Super Saiyan 4. The enemy's eyes widened. Impossible. Goku's fist slammed into his gut, sending him flying. The battlefield trembled. But the victory was short-lived. The true enemy smiled. Impressive. But you're still outmatched. He raised his hand again, and the sky split, a vortex of dark energy forming. Goku gritted his teeth. They needed a new plan, fast. As the vortex grew, Vegeta staggered to Goku's side. We can't beat him like this, he muttered. Goku nodded. Then we do the unthinkable. Vegeta's eyes narrowed, then hardened with resolve. Fusion? Goku grinned weakly. Only way. With the world collapsing around them, they clasped hands, and the fusion began. The enemy's laughter turned to shock as their auras merged. The final battle was about to begin. The battlefield trembled as Goku collapsed to his knees, his body battered and bleeding from the relentless onslaught. The sky above was a swirling vortex of dark energy, crackling with the malevolent power of their enemy, the resurrected Saiyan warlord, Paragus. His crimson eyes burned with vengeance, his muscles coiled like steel springs as he loomed over Goku. Pathetic, Paragus sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. The legendary Super Saiyan, reduced to this? Goku's breath came in ragged gasps, his vision blurring. But deep within, a spark ignited, the unyielding will of a warrior who refused to surrender. Nearby, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, and Goten lay motionless, their energy nearly depleted. Their bodies bore the scars of the brutal battle, their armor shattered. Yet, as if sensing Goku's desperation, their fingers twitched. A silent understanding passed between them. Gohan was the first to rise, his teeth gritted as he forced his body to obey. "Dad! We're not done yet," he growled. One by one, the others staggered to their feet, their auras flickering weakly but defiantly. Paragus laughed, a deep, mocking sound that echoed across the wasteland. "You think your pitiful resolve changes anything?" He raised his hand, gathering a sphere of crackling energy. "I'll erase you all in one blow." The air itself seemed to scream as the attack surged toward them. But in that instant, Goku's eyes snapped open, golden light erupting from his pupils. With a roar that shook the earth, he thrust his palm forward, intercepting the blast in a cataclysmic explosion. The shockwave sent debris flying, obscuring the battlefield in a thick cloud of dust. When the smoke cleared, Goku stood tall, his body radiating an unfamiliar energy. His hair had grown wilder, his muscles more defined, and a crimson aura enveloped him like a storm. Super Saiyan 4. The transformation was raw, untamed, power beyond anything he'd ever known. Paragus staggered back, his confidence wavering for the first time. "Impossible. How?" Goku didn't answer. Instead, he moved. One moment he was standing still, the next his fist was buried in Paragus' gut, the impact sending the tyrant hurtling through the air. Before Paragus could recover, Goku was above him, driving an elbow into his spine, slamming him into the ground with enough force to split the earth. Paragus coughed blood, his body screaming in protest, but his rage fueled him. With a snarl, he counterattacked, his fists a blur as he aimed for Goku's ribs. But Goku weaved through the strikes, countering with a spinning kick that sent Paragus skidding across the battlefield. The others watched in awe, their spirits reignited. Vegeta smirked, wiping blood from his lip. "About damn time, Kakarot." He clenched his fists, his own aura flaring. "Let's finish this." Without another word, he lunged forward, joining Goku in the assault. Gohan, Trunks, and Goten followed, their combined attacks forcing Paragus on the defensive. Blow after blow landed, each strike fueled by desperation and sheer willpower. Paragus roared, his body swelling with dark energy as he unleashed a shockwave that sent them all flying. "Enough," he bellowed. "I am the last true Saiyan. You will all perish." His form twisted, his muscles bulging grotesquely as he entered his ultimate state, a monstrous fusion of power and rage. The ground beneath him liquefied from the sheer heat of his aura. Goku wiped sweat from his brow, his breath heavy but steady. He glanced at his comrades, their faces bruised but resolute. "We need one last push," he said. They nodded. One by one, they raised their hands, their remaining energy coalescing into a single, radiant sphere. Goku reached out, absorbing their power, his body glowing like a supernova. The energy was overwhelming, threatening to tear him apart, but he embraced it. For his family. For Earth. With a final, earth-shattering cry, Goku unleashed everything. The beam of pure energy streaked toward Paragus, who met it with his own. The two forces collided in a blinding explosion, the shockwave ripping apart the landscape. For a moment, it seemed like a stalemate, until Goku pushed harder, his body burning with the combined strength of his allies. Inch by inch, the beam overtook Paragus, his screams lost in the inferno. Then, silence. The dust settled, revealing a crater where Paragus once stood. Goku dropped to one knee, his body exhausted but victorious. The others limped toward him, their faces etched with relief. The battle was over. But as the sun broke through the darkened sky, Goku knew one thing for certain: they had pushed past their limits. And they would do it again, no matter the cost. The air crackled with energy as Goku stood battered and breathless, his body trembling on the precipice of collapse. The monstrous Omega Shenrong loomed above, its dark aura swallowing the remnants of the shattered battlefield. Blood dripped from Goku's lip, his gi torn, his spirit barely clinging to consciousness. Behind him, The fallen forms of Vegeta, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks lay motionless, their energy drained, their strength spent. But their sacrifice wasn't in vain. Goku clenched his fists, feeling the last flickers of their power surging through him. The four Saiyans' energy intertwined with his own, a storm of raw potential begging to be unleashed. His heart pounded like a war drum, each beat echoing the voices of his friends, his family. This is it, he growled, his voice hoarse but resolute. Golden flames erupted around him, his hair lengthening, his muscles bulging, but this was no ordinary transformation. Crimson fur sprouted across his body, his tail whipping free as his eyes burned with feral intensity. Super Saiyan 4. Omega Shenron recoiled, its jagged teeth bared in a snarl. Impossible. You should be dead, it roared, lashing out with a monstrous claw. Goku moved like lightning, catching the attack mid-swing. The impact sent shockwaves ripping through the earth, but Goku didn't budge. His grip tightened, crushing bone. You're finished, he snarled, driving his fist into the dragon's gut. The beast howled as it rocketed backward, skidding across the ruined landscape. The battle became a blur of motion. Goku's fists were meteors, each strike shaking the heavens. Omega Shenron retaliated with blasts of corrupted energy, but Goku weaved through them, his instincts honed to perfection. He flipped over a blackened ki wave, planting both feet on the dragon's snout and kicking off, flipping backward to avoid a crushing tail swipe. The ground where he'd stood moments earlier was reduced to molten slag. Goku landed, his breath ragged but his resolve unbroken. He could feel the other's energy inside him, Vegeta's pride, Gohan's determination, Goten and Trunks' unwavering hope. Their strength fueled his own. Channeling every ounce of power, he thrust his palms forward, gathering a swirling sphere of crimson and gold. Kamehameha. The words were a whisper, then a roar. Final flash. The beam erupted, a blinding torrent of destruction. Omega Shenron shrieked as the attack engulfed it, its body unraveling like smoke in the wind. The sky split apart, the dark clouds dispersing as the dragon's essence shattered into nothingness. Silence fell. The wind carried the scent of scorched earth as Goku's transformation faded, his body collapsing to one knee. He was spent, but victorious. One by one, the others stirred. Vegeta groaned, pushing himself up with a grunt. Took you long enough, Kakarot, he muttered, though there was no bite in his words, only weary respect. Gohan staggered to his feet, his eyes widening as he took in the aftermath. We did it, he breathed. Goten and Trunks whooped weakly, their energy returning in slow, steady waves. The world itself seemed to sigh in relief. The eternal dragon's corrupted influence had been purged, the balance restored. As the sun broke through the clouds, bathing the battlefield in golden light, Goku managed a tired grin. Yeah. We did. But the victory wasn't just physical. The bond between them had deepened, their trust unshakable. The universe would remember this day, not just for the battle, but for the moment four Saiyans gave everything so one could rise beyond his limits. And as the dust settled, a new era dawned. One where strength wasn't just measured in power, but in the hearts of those who fought for what mattered most. The end of the battle was only the beginning of their legend.